I never imagined that signing a few papers could erase the life I spent years building. Not just my marriage, not just my house, but my sense of purpose, my identity as a man, and the version of myself I thought would last forever. This is not a story about hatred. It's a story about loss, and how divorce didn't just end my marriage. It dismantled my entire life. My name is Jonathan, and this is what happened after the divorce. For over a decade, I believed I was doing everything right. I worked full-time, paid the mortgage, showed up for birthdays, put food on the table, loved my kids the only way I knew how, by being responsible. We owned a modest house in the suburbs, 2 cars in the driveway, family photos on the walls. From the outside, we looked stable, successful, normal. I thought stability was love. I didn't notice how quiet the conversations became, how dinner turned into silence, how we slowly turned into me and you. Men are taught to fix problems, not to read emotions. So when nothing seemed broken, I assumed everything was fine. I was wrong. One evening, after the kids were asleep, she sat across from me at the kitchen table. Her hands were shaking. She said, "I'm not happy anymore." That sentence felt heavier than anger, heavier than yelling, because unhappiness doesn't give you something to fight against. Then came the words that shattered me. "I want a divorce." I didn't scream. I didn't beg. I didn't even respond. I just stared at the wall behind her, realizing that the life I built was collapsing, and I didn't even understand why. Most men aren't emotionally prepared for divorce. We're blindsided. We're taught to endure, not to process. That night, I slept in the guest room, and something inside me quietly died. For weeks, I told myself this was temporary. She's just stressed. We'll fix it. This happens to couples. But divorce isn't a storm, it's erosion. By the time you notice it, the ground is already gone. I replayed every conversation, every argument, every missed moment. Was I too focused on work? Not affectionate enough? Too emotionally distant? The truth is, divorce doesn't come with a clear villain. It comes with unanswered questions that eat you alive. Men internalize failure differently. We don't cry loudly. We collapse quietly. The legal process was cold, mechanical, ruthless, assets divided, accounts split, lawyers billing by the hour. I lost the house, the place where my kids took their first steps, the walls that held our history, child support, alimony, monthly payments that reminded me, every single month, that the life I lost still owned me financially. I went from middle-class stability to financial anxiety almost overnight. Money doesn't hurt because it's money. It hurts because it represents effort, time, sacrifice, all now redistributed. Divorce didn't make me poor. It made me powerless. Nothing prepares you for the silence. No footsteps in the hallway. No laughter in the living room. No bedtime routines. Seeing your kids on a schedule feels unnatural. Like love has been rationed by the court. I missed ordinary moments, homework questions, random hugs, bad jokes at dinner. Being a father became something I had to schedule, and that broke me more than anything else. Men often lose not just their marriages in divorce. They lose daily fatherhood. And society rarely talks about that grief. Friends didn't know what to say. Some disappeared. Others treated me like a cautionary tale. Couples stopped inviting me over. Conversations became awkward. I wasn't angry. I was invisible. Men don't rebuild social circles easily after divorce. We're conditioned to bond through work and relationships. When those collapse, so does our support system. Loneliness isn't about being alone. It's about feeling unseen. I felt erased. Sleep became impossible. Nights were loud with thoughts. What did I do wrong? Who am I now? Is this it? I didn't talk about it. Because men are taught that pain is weakness. But suppressed pain doesn't disappear. It mutates. Anxiety, depression, emotional numbness. I wasn't suicidal, but I wasn't alive either. Divorce doesn't just break relationships. It fractures identity. One morning, I looked at myself in the bathroom mirror. Older, tired, empty, and I realized something terrifying. No one was coming to save me. If my life was going to continue, I had to rebuild it alone. That realization was painful, but it was also the first moment of control I'd felt in months. I started small. Morning walks. Therapy sessions I was ashamed to admit I needed. Cooking my own meals. Relearning who I was without being a husband. Healing wasn't dramatic. It was boring. Slow, lonely, but progress rarely looks heroic. I learned that masculinity isn't about endurance. It's about honesty. I stopped blaming myself for everything, and I stopped pretending I was okay. Divorce took my marriage, my home, my financial comfort, my daily access to my children, but it also stripped away illusions. I learned that providing isn't the same as connecting, that silence can be louder than arguments, and that emotional presence matters more than stability. Most importantly, I learned this. Losing everything doesn't mean you are nothing. If you're a man watching this, fresh from divorce, or quietly drowning inside one, you are not broken. You are grieving, and grief doesn't mean the end of your story. It means a chapter closed, so another can be written. Divorce didn't end my life. It forced me to rebuild it with intention, and that may be the hardest and most honest thing a man will ever do. Thanks for watching video.